What's going on, guys? This is Ryan with the RK Outpost, and the Masters of the Universe Revelation disaster continues to get worse because Kevin Smith is making it worse. Kevin Smith continues to lie, try to change his story, and is now coming after fans just like we said would happen. Kevin Smith, the man who, as this tweet so accurately points out, literally posts himself crying at the end of every Marvel movie, at the end of every Star Wars movie. He posts a selfie, a 50-year-old man, of him crying at the end of every big budget movie that they make because he is now a corporate shill. This dude is telling people to grow the fuck up. This dude is telling people to grow the fuck up if you don't like what he's doing to He-Man. If you don't like what he did to Masters of the Universe Revelation. If you don't like the fact that he lied to people over and over. We are going to go through this, guys, because this is very revealing. Of course, from Variety, Kevin Smith made Netflix's Masters of the Universe Revelation specifically to please He-Man fans. Some got mad anyway. Well, that's strange considering you killed him in the first episode, you killed him in the 5th episode, and he basically wasn't present any other time. So it's strange that that's a show for He-Man fans. It's strange that you would come out with this season that you told us was literally all about He-Man when the description that Netflix gave, what the cast is telling us, says that it's all about Teela. Kevin Smith is a lying piece of garbage, and so many people are calling him out for it. Grow the fuck up, man, from the guy who films himself crying like a baby over Star Wars trailers and whose clothes fit him like the last scene in Big. And everybody is roasting this. There's some funky stuff going on with Rotten Tomatoes. I told you guys last night, they froze scores for nearly 24 hours. They did not let you review this because they knew a lot of people were upset. They call it review bombing. Everyone else calls it voicing your opinion, whether it's positive or negative. They froze this last night. They have recently opened it up in the middle of the night. Suddenly a strange flood of positive reviews came in. That's weird how that works, isn't it? But still overwhelmingly incredibly bad audience scores for Kevin Smith. And then he comes out and literally tries to lie to fans again and tells them to grow the fuck up if they don't like it. This is insane. This is truly a Rian Johnson, a Neil Druckmann moment. Kevin Smith nearly turned down He-Man. In early 2019, the iconoclastic filmmaker, podcast host, and foul-mouthed bon vivant got a call from his agent. Mattel wanted to meet, but they required that Smith sign an NDA first. And they go all through this meeting to talk about it. The Netflix series based on He-Man and the Masters of the Universe. I never would have put that together, he said. He was a young teenager during He-Man's runs from 1983 to 85, and he wasn't exactly a die-hard fan. I almost hate-watched it because I was like, this show's for babies, he said. They have one of the badass villains in history, Skeletor, visually incredible, and all they did was somersault and not really fight. Nobody ever got stabbed, but it was the 80s, so you watched everything that was on. That is so weird that you would say, I'm not a big fan and I almost hate-watched it. When this is what you said when you unveiled Masters of the Universe Revelation. Let's listen to what Kevin Smith said back in 2019 to trick the fans, to lie to the fans.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am a big genre fan. I'm a big, obviously, DC Marvel Universe fan, but the Motu Universe as well, or Masters of the Universe, is right alongside with it. Unfortunately, it came right...
Wow. That's crazy that you're a big genre fan, obviously Marvel and DC, but the Motu universe is right alongside it. Well, I think we're going to give that a thumbs down because Kevin Smith is a fucking liar. Once again, now changing his story again about how he felt about Masters of the Universe. Not a surprise. It talks about the development, what they wanted to do. David and Biaselli wanted Smith to do the same with He-Man, take on the show from the 80s and continue the story with those characters, only now for an adult audience. And that is the thing with this. This is supposed to be for fans of the original cartoon. That's who this is supposed to be made for. Obviously, Kevin Smith wasn't a fan. Now he's saying, why are you guys getting so mad? You're not a fan, but you pretended like you were. You pretended like you were to everyone. Here's a great quote here. I know what a fan base reacts like when they don't get the thing they grew up watching, from Kevin Smith. Now you pretend you're surprised that this is happening to you when you gave them exactly what they didn't want and lied to them the entire way. That is the bigger problem with this. It's not just It's not just about the product that they put out there. Bad shows happen all the time. Bad reboots happen all the time. Bad sequels happen all the time. People, kind of move on. There's not always this review bombing, as they call it. But the reason this is happening is because Kevin Smith lied to everyone for a year and a half. He lied about how much he cared about this universe, and he lied about the show itself. If someone asks you something, you're not required to respond and spoil things. You just say, I guess you're going to have to wait and see. That's all it has to be. But you went out of your way to target Clownfish TV. You went out of your way to lie to people and say, oh, this isn't a Tila show. This is He-Man series. It's literally about He-Man. Kevin Smith fucking lies again. Also, because I know what a fan base reacts like when they don't get the thing they grew up watching, you think I'm going to be the fall guy for that? If I'm involved in the thing, it's going to be true to what it is. It's going to be true to the franchise. This is from Kevin Smith. Jeez. And yet, a little more than 24 hours after the debut of Masters of the Universe, and despite near universal glowing notices from critics, the show has been, quote, review bombed by users posting to Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. The general consensus among those upset, Kevin Smith had indeed not given fans what they grew up, namely, he had not given them He-Man. They talk a little more about the actual plot, and then they say this, but it's also clear that Revelation is a textbook case of the precarious tightrope walk of trying to please fans of a legacy franchise while avoiding merely regurgitating what came before, especially given that the world of extremely online fandoms, almost always exclusively driven by men, have not responded well when a property previously led by a man suddenly has a woman at its center instead. And again, they're trying to make this, toxic fans, toxic men that don't like women. It's much more complicated than that. It is about the fact that he told us specifically after reports came out that He-Man was going to be absent in this series and it was going to be all about Tila. People watched He-Man Masters of the Universe for a reason. That's what he sold us on coming back to. But no, lied to us saying it's not Tila-centric when it is. That is a massive, massive part of this entire thing. Then he talks about wanting to subvert your expectations. Of course, subverting expectations. And then we have to get to this quote right here. I know how to Marvelize this shit, Kevin Smith says. They reserved me my childhood with fresh recipes, and I get to eat the same meals that made me happy as a kid all over again. But it's a trick. I've been studying Kevin Feige like crazy for 10 years. They give you something that feels and looks like your childhood, but when you go back and compare it to your childhood, it's way better, and that's what we did here. Maybe not a great time to say, I know how to Marvelize this shit, as Marvel Phase 4 looks to be collapsing on itself, as nobody gives a fuck about Black Widow, and it bombs in theaters, as there are terrible, terrible audience reactions to WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki. Now Kevin Smith is saying, I want to emulate that. Not a great time to compare yourself to Marvel. Just saying. I know there's some people who are like, hey man, this show's woke, he said. I'm like, all right, great. So is the original cartoon we're fucking sequelizing. Go watch it again. There are girls in every episode. Deal with it. Oh man, calling people man babies, saying they hate women. That's not what this is about. It's about the fact that, every single woman involved in this is a selfish bitch, and it's all about her victimization. That's what we're talking about. Obviously, Tila was in every show. People were excited to see Tila. But you took Tila, and while Adam's parents are grieving for him, while his friends are grieving for him, she says, it's all about me. How dare you not tell me? It's not fair. Then literally gets a bitch SJW haircut and acts like a victim the entire time, even blaming Adam for dying to save the universe, but you left us to live with it. That is the problem. You tore every strong male character down while elevating all the women. That's what people are talking about. Not because they're just present in the show. What a piece of shit. I see people online go, hey man, they're getting rid of He-Man, he said. Like, you really effing think Mattel, who hired and paid me, wants to do Master Universe show without He-Man? Grow the fuck up, man. Like, that blew my mind. Bunch of people being like, oh, I smell it. This is a bait and switch. Then why'd you lie to people, Kevin? Why'd you lie to people? Now you have Kevin Smith, the man who looks like this at the end of every big property that comes out because he is now a professional shill, telling everybody else to grow the fuck up, saying you just don't like women. Kevin Smith blaming the fans, going full Rian Johnson. This is full Star Wars now. He-Man Masters of the Universe, now it has gone the path of Star Wars. It has gone the path of Star Trek and Doctor Who and all these properties. Kevin Smith is a sellout shill piece of shit. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later. Thanks for watching, everyone, and a huge shout out to my patrons. I appreciate you guys so much. Want to follow me on Twitter or Instagram? Check out the description below. You'll find links to my P.O. box and my Patreon as well. And I'll talk to you guys later.